A pleasant afternoon, Davao de Oro, and to all Z-eskwela listeners, especially to all grade 10 students who are listening to us right now on the radios at home and joining with us on our Facebook Live. I am teacher Mildred P. Recto from Major 𝗥𝗲𝗀𝗿𝗀𝗀 National High School, and I will again be your presenter for today in Science Grade 10. We are now on our second module for the second quarter. How are you so far? I hope you are still enjoying your journey in the new normal setting of learning as well continue to move forward despite of the crisis we are in right now. Now, let's move on and have another lesson. We hope everybody is prepared with your pens, record notebooks, and modules. Make sure that you already ate your lunch and you are on your most comfortable position as we will go through with our discussion. So, are you ready for today's class? That's good to know. Now brace yourselves as we get along with today's topic. Ready? Once again, hello and good afternoon everyone. Before we will start to introduce our topic this afternoon, let us first have a quick review of the previous concepts you have learned in our previous discussion. You have learned that electromagnetic waves are waves that are created as a result of vibrations between an electric field and magnetic field. And they are arranged in increasing frequency in what we call as the electromagnetic spectrum. Again, electromagnetic spectrum is the arrangement of EM waves in increasing frequency. Can you still remember the different types of electromagnetic waves? Very good. The different types of EM waves are the radio waves, microwaves, infrared, visible light, ultrasound, X-ray, and gamma ray. And they are arranged in a decreasing wavelength, increasing frequency, and energy. Again, the types of electromagnetic waves are arranged in a decreasing wavelength, increasing frequency, and energy. Now class, are you not wondering how you are able to communicate with your loved ones from far places? How your television remote control works? Or how were you able to listen to music from your radio? Most of the things we use nowadays are applications of our knowledge about electromagnetic waves. We may not see these EM waves, but we encounter their different forms in our daily life. That's why this afternoon, we will be discussing the practical applications and effects of electromagnetic waves. And we hope that at the end of the lesson, you will be able to cite examples of practical applications of the different regions of EM waves, such as the use of radio waves in telecommunication, and explain the effects of electromagnetic radiation on living things and the environment. Now, are you ready for the discussion of our topic this afternoon? Great! To test your past knowledge about this topic, kindly answer first the questions on what I know on pages 1 to 2 of your modules. You are given 5 seconds to answer each 10 questions. Let us read the instruction first. Listen carefully. Read each question carefully. Choose the letter of the correct answer. Number 1. What EM wave makes cellular telephones transmit and receive signals? A. Radio waves, B. Microwaves, C. Visible light, D. Gamma rays. What EM wave makes cellular telephones transmit and receive signals? A. Radio waves, B. Microwaves, C. Visible light, D. Gamma rays. Number 2. All of the following are uses of visible light. Which one is not? A. It enables us to see things. B. Gives light to the screen of our devices. C. For thermal imaging. D. Used in optical fibers. All of the following are uses of visible light. Which one is not? A. It enables us to see things. B. Gives light to the screen of our devices. C. For thermal imaging. D. Used in optical fibers. Three. Which kind of wave is used in night vision goggles? A. Microwave. B. Infrared. C. Gamma ray. D. Visible light. 3. Which kind of wave is used in night vision goggles? A. Microwave. B. Infrared. C. Gamma ray. D. Visible light. 4. Which of the following EM wave makes use of artificial lighting? A. Visible spectrum. B. X-ray. C. Gamma rays. D. Infrared. Which of the following EM wave makes use of artificial lighting? A. Visible spectrum. B. X-ray. C. Gamma rays. D. Infrared. 5. Which of the following is a use of ultraviolet radiation? A. Diagnosing bone fracture. B. Identifying original from fake banknotes. C. Night vision goggle. D. Optical fiber. Which of the following is a use of ultraviolet radiation? A. Diagnosing bone fracture. B. Identifying original from fake banknotes. C. Night vision goggle. D. Optical fiber. 6. Which type of X-ray can penetrate even through metals? A. Regular X-ray. B. Long wavelength X-ray. C. Short wavelength X-ray. D. Dental X-ray. Which type of X-ray can penetrate even through metals? A. Regular X-ray. B. Long wavelength X-ray. C. Short wavelength X-ray. D. Dental X-ray. 7. What type of electromagnetic waves is used in radar? A. Infrared rays. B. Microwaves. C. Radio waves. D. Ultraviolet rays. What type of electromagnetic waves is used in radar? A. Infrared rays. B. Microwaves. C. Radio waves. D. Ultraviolet rays. 8. What imaging technique uses powerful magnets, computer, and radio waves to make detailed pictures inside your body? A. Thermal imaging. B. Infrared imaging. C. Magnetic resonance imaging. D. X-ray image. What imaging technique uses powerful magnets, computer, and radio waves to make detailed pictures inside your body? A. Thermal imaging. B. Infrared imaging. C. Magnetic resonance imaging. D. X-ray image. 9. In an infrared camera, what color indicates warmer temperature? A. Blue. B. Green. C. Violet. D. Yellow. In an infrared camera, what color indicates warmer temperature? A. Blue. B. Green. C. Violet. D. Yellow. 10. Which of the EM waves below are emitted by stars and some radioactive substances? A. Gamma rays. B. Radio waves. C. Microwave. D. X-ray. Which of the EM waves below are emitted by stars and some radioactive substances? A. Gamma rays. B. Radio waves. C. Microwave. D. X-ray. 11. Now, let us check her work. 1B, 2C, 3B, 4A, 5B, 6C, 7B, 8C, 9D, and 10A. How are your scores? It's okay if you did not get perfect scores, as we will tackle these things in our discussion today. Now, after our short break, we will continue on our discussion on the practical applications and effects of electromagnetic waves. Stay tuned!
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix 𝗥𝗲𝗀𝗱𝗿𝗀 Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
And we are back. Now, let us have our discussion about the practical applications and effects of the electromagnetic waves. Earlier, we have reviewed the different types of electromagnetic waves. What are they again? Great! They are the radio wave, microwave, infrared, visible light, ultrasound, X-ray, and gamma ray. While all these EM waves move through space at the same speed of about 300 million meters per second, their wavelengths, frequencies, and energies differ. This is the reason why they are arranged accordingly in a scheme called electromagnetic spectrum. Again, although the EM waves travel at the same speed, they are arranged accordingly in a scheme called electromagnetic spectrum because they differ in their wavelengths, frequency, and energy. Electromagnetic waves have practical applications which depend greatly on their wavelength, frequency, and energy. Well, let us continue with our discussion for us to know more about it. Let us first discuss the practical applications of the radio wave. In your module on page 5, you can see there 3 of some of the applications of radio waves. First is the radio or television signals. Just like at this moment, you can listen to us right now on your radios at home, even if we are far from each other because of radio waves. That is because radio waves has the longest wavelength in the electromagnetic spectrum. That's why it can transmit sounds or picture information over long distances. Next application of the radio wave is the on-the-go GPS or the Global Positioning System, which we always use as a guide whenever we're not familiar of the places we are going. GPS is a space-based navigation system that provides geographical position and time information anywhere on or near the Earth. It communicates with stations on the ground using radio waves. We have GPS in our cars, our cell phones, and any tracking devices. Lastly is the magnetic resonance imaging or MRI. This is commonly found in hospitals and is used to look at organs and structures inside your body. Healthcare professionals use MRI scans to diagnose a variety of conditions, from torn ligaments to tumors. MRIs are very useful for examining the brain and spinal cord. It is a medical imaging technique that uses powerful magnets, computer, and radio waves to make detailed pictures inside your body. Again, what are the 3 practical applications of radio waves? Very good! Radio waves are applied in the radio or television signals, global positioning system or GPS, and the magnetic resonance imaging or MRI. Now, let us proceed to the applications of the next electromagnetic waves, which is the microwave. First is the satellite. Microwaves are used in satellite communications because it can penetrate the Earth's atmosphere. Microwave signals are transmitted by the antenna to a satellite, which amplifies and retransmits the signal to an antenna in other parts of the world. This is how we communicate even from afar. Again, we can communicate even from afar through these satellites because it uses microwaves that can penetrate the Earth's atmosphere and transmit signals from an antenna to another. Next is the terrestrial communication. A cell phone is a radio transmitter and receiver that uses microwaves. Each cell has its tower that receives and sends microwave signals. There you go! The cell phones that we cannot live without uses an electromagnetic wave that is microwave. The third application for the microwave is used in cooking. The microwaves in a microwave oven penetrate and agitate the water molecules within the food. Thus, they create molecular friction, which produces heat that will cook the food. Lastly is the radar, which we see in movies used by military men, whether on land, up in the air, or in the middle of the ocean. Radar, radio detection and ranging, is a detection system used to determine the range, angle, or velocity of objects. It can be used to detect aircraft, ships, and the like. So, the applications for microwaves are found in the satellite communication, terrestrial communication like the cell phones. It is used in cooking using the microwave oven, and the radar that detects objects. Next up is the infrared. And we use infrared EM waves in our remote controls, whether in our TVs, air cons, and the like. It uses LED lights to transmit signals to control devices, and as it transmits signals, it emits pulses of invisible infrared light. Next one is the thermal imaging through infrared scanners. Infrared scanners such as thermal imaging and thermal scanner are used to show the temperature variation of the body. Our body radiates infrared, and under infrared cameras, our images appear in a variety of colors. The differences in color determine the differences in temperature. For example, shades of blue and green indicate regions of colder temperature, and red and yellow indicate warmer temperature. That's what commonly used, especially in this time of pandemic. Transport terminals are often using thermal scanners to determine if a passenger is in high temperature. Lastly is the night vision goggles. It uses thermal imaging technology to capture the infrared light being emitted as heat by objects in the field of view even at night. The application of the visible light is that enables us to see things around us. It also gives light to the screen of most electronic devices and artificial lights like flashlight, lamp, or any light source that produces light instead of natural lights produced by the sun. Another application of the visible light is the use of optical fibers in medicine, specifically in using the endoscope. It is a flexible tube with a tiny camera that is used to observe the internal parts of the body. The fifth one is the ultraviolet wave. The ultraviolet B, UVB radiation in sunlight interact with a protein in the skin, converting it into vitamin D3, the active form of vitamin D, which is essential for maintaining healthy bones and teeth. Ultraviolet is also used in security markings in sensitive documents such as credit cards, banknotes, and passports. It includes a UV watermark that is only seen under UV emitting light. Next application of the ultraviolet is in the sterilization of water in drinking fountains. Ultraviolet light disinfection is one water treatment system that can be used to remove most forms of microbiological contamination from water. And the last application of the UV is in the fluorescence. Some washing powder contains fluorescent chemicals which glow in sunlight. This makes your shirt look whiter in daylight. Now, students, are you still listening? We are now down to our last two EM waves and their applications. We are done with the applications of radio waves, microwaves, infrared, visible lights, and the ultraviolet. Now, before we proceed, I want you to get up from wherever you are and shake your body to shake away boredom. Go! Shake and stretch! Are you done? Let us continue. The next EM wave we will discuss is the X-ray, and I'm sure you know about it. Have you tried getting an X-ray? X-rays are used in diagnosing bone fractures and is produced using an X-ray tube. Long wavelength X-rays can penetrate the flesh but not the bones. That's why it is used in diagnosing bone fractures. Airport security scanner also uses X-ray. The short wavelength X-rays can penetrate through metals, which can be used in airport security scanner. Last EM wave is the gamma ray, and it is used to treat tumors and cancer through the process called radiotherapy. The high energy rays of gamma destroy cancer cells in the area where it is given. Gamma rays also sterilize surgical instruments because they easily penetrate through materials, and the energy they release kills bacteria and other microorganisms. From the practical applications of EM waves discussed above, we can conclude that these waves are significant to us. But even essential forms of radiation can be harmful in excessive amount. The effect of EM radiation on organisms and environment depends on how much energy it carries. Radiation can be non-ionizing and ionizing. Non-ionizing radiation does not have enough energy to remove electrons from atoms and molecules. Radio waves, microwaves, infrared, visible lights, and ultraviolets are non-ionizing radiation. We are exposed to low levels of non-ionizing radiation every day. When the exposure is intense and direct, it may result in damage to tissue due to heat. Right amount of non-ionizing radiation like UV rays maintain the proper mechanism of ecosystem. High-energy EM waves like X-rays and gamma rays are considered ionizing radiation. Like the non-ionizing radiation, we are also exposed to low levels of ionizing radiation that comes from the atmosphere. This means that the usual amount of ionizing radiation from natural sources absorbed by our bodies is small. Our main exposure to ionizing radiation comes from man-made sources through the use of diagnostic medical exams. Excessive exposure to this radiation can alter molecules within the cells and may cause eventual harm such as skin or tissue damage, cancer, and death. When handled improperly, radioactive pollution may occur, where the air, soil, and water will be contaminated. This pollution may eventually make its way up to the food chain, where all forms of life may be affected. Now, if you have any questions about our discussion for today, you can leave a comment on our FB Live in the Facebook account of 𝗧Radio88.5 and we'll answer that later on. So, I guess you are now ready for the quiz? Now, during our break, prepare your pen and a clean sheet of paper because when we come back, we will test your understanding on our discussion today. We'll be right back after a short break.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by 𝗠𝗶𝗹𝗱𝗿𝗲 Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, 𝗧𝗵𝗲𝗃 Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
And we are back. Are you now ready for your quiz? I guess you are quite ready and excited. Now, learners, kindly open your module on pages 23 to 24. Again, kindly open your module on pages 23 to 24. Let us read the instruction together. Choose the letter of the correct answer. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. Let us start. Number 1. Which pair of EM waves is commonly used for communication? A. X-rays and infrared. B. Radio waves and microwaves. C. Radio waves and gamma rays. D. Infrared and microwaves. Again, which pair of EM waves is commonly used for communication? A. X-rays and infrared. B. Radio waves and microwaves. C. Radio waves and gamma rays. D. Infrared and microwaves. Number 2. Radio wave is useful in which of the following applications? A. Watching television. B. Treating cancers. C. Sterilizing medical equipment. D. Sunbathing. Radio wave is useful in which of the following applications? A. Watching television. B. Treating cancers. C. Sterilizing medical equipment. D. Sunbathing. 3. All of the following made use of gamma rays except one. Which is it? A. Treating tumors. B. Treating cancer through the process called radiotherapy. C. Sterilization of water in drinking fountains. D. Sterilization of medical equipment. All of the following made use of gamma rays except one. Which is it? A. Treating tumors. B. Treating cancer through the process called radiotherapy. C. Sterilization of water in drinking fountains. D. Sterilization of medical equipment. 4. Infrared waves is useful in which of the following applications? A. Remote control. B. Television signal. C. Screen of electronic devices. D. Night vision goggles. Infrared waves is useful in which of the following applications? A. Remote control. B. Television signal. C. Screen of electronic devices. D. Night vision goggles. Five. Microwave is useful in which of the following applications? A. Remote control. B. Cell phone communication. C. Artificial lighting. D. Sterilization. Microwave is useful in which of the following applications? A. Remote control. B. Cell phone communication. C. Artificial lighting. D. Sterilization. Six. Invisible light, which color has the longest wavelength? A. Red. B. Violet. C. Yellow. D. Green. Invisible light, which color has the longest wavelength? A. Red. B. Violet. C. Yellow. D. Green. 7. What form of wave makes your skin tan when exposed to a long period of time? A. Infrared rays. B. Microwaves. C. Radio waves. D. Ultraviolet rays. What form of wave makes your skin tan when exposed for a long period of time? A. Infrared rays. B. Microwaves. C. Radio waves. D. Ultraviolet rays. 8. Which of the following is not an application of visible light? A. Bulb. B. Security markings. C. Cell phone screen. D. Flashlight. Which of the following is not an application of visible light? A. Bulb. B. Security markings. C. Cell phone screen. D. Flashlight. 9. Which of the following is the correct meaning of the acronym GPS? A. Guided position symbol. B. Global positioning system. C. Guided positioning system. D. Global perimeter scale. Which of the following is the correct meaning of the acronym GPS? A. Guided position symbol. B. Global positioning system. C. Guided positioning system. D. Global perimeter scale. 10. Colors in the infrared image depend on A. Wavelength. B. Frequency. C. Amplitude. D. Temperature. Colors in the infrared image depend on A. Wavelength. B. Frequency. C. Amplitude. D. Temperature. Okay, let us check your work. 1A, 2A, 3C, 4A, 5B, 6A, 7D, 8B, 9B, 10D. Who among you got perfect? Very good. How about those students who got below the passing score? Nothing to worry about. We still have plenty of quizzes on the preceding topics. Once again, congratulations everyone! Again, we hope that you were able to understand and grasp the knowledge about the practical applications and effects of electromagnetic waves, wherein we were able to cite examples of practical applications of the different regions of EM waves and explain the effects of electromagnetic radiation on living things and the environment. Reminder, for those concepts which are not clear to you, you can put your comments, suggestions, and questions on our FB page. Once again, thank you so much for listening. Again, I am Teacher Mildred P. Recto, of Major Angel V. Fajardo National High School as your content presenter, and with me is teacher Teresa V. Angostura of Monte Vista National High School, Maine, as a creative resource developer. See you next session through our radio-based instruction in Science Grade 10.
𝗔𝗴𝗀𝗀 Executive Committee. The School's Division Superintendent, 𝗧𝗵𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 5. Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romel R. Handayan. OIC Curriculum Implementation Division Chief, Karina S. Frasco. School Governance and Operations Division Chief, Dr. Ruben J. Riponte. Members: Cecilia Morales, Dr. Hilda A. Opeña, Dr. Arlene B. Lim, Dr. Eldecris B. Calzadora, Dr. Dexter A. Siquinia, Nohara O. Pinute, Noemi P. Canales, Dr. Grace D. Pontillas, Virgilito C. Pabrices, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangit, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Dalan S. Milabat, Medard T. Ampit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Productions and Communications, Lorely E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judyland T. Yu, Donna D. T. Bolifer, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riwen Manuel, Irene Lea C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banias. Social Media and Packaging Team, Christian Anhara L. Martesio, William R. Ranara, Joan T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acusar Jr., May B. Istaniol, Richard H. Arellano, Glee L. S. Blanco, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo Gutierrez Jr., and Jade Karen Arais.